Hello and welcome to I24 News Sports Daily Magazine with all the latest scores and stories from around the world. Monday evening, a new and exciting week of sports is here, and these are the headlines. We thought it would be close. We thought there would be a fight, but the Seattle Seahawks had other plans. They thrashed the Denver Broncos and won their first Super Bowl in history. Don't look for Real Madrid or Barcelona at the top of La Liga. Atletico Madrid is now the team to beat in Spain after another impressive performance, this time against Real Sociedad. The quarterfinals are set in the Davis Cup. Andy Murray took the UK to the final 8 for the first time in nearly 30 years. Now they will tackle Italy. And take a look at this guy. He may be 102, but he's still in shape, cycling distances and breaking records just like a young athlete. Hello again and thank you for joining us. We are live from the Jaffa Port. We begin, of course, with the Super Bowl, the story of the game that promised to be a close and tight encounter, but delivered exactly the opposite. The Seattle Seahawks, with the best defense in the league, put on another impressive display, but the Denver Broncos, with the best offense in the league, left all their offensive arsenal back home in Colorado and were literally smoked by the Seahawks. Ori Baum with the story of Super Bowl 48, the one that Peyton Manning would love to forget.
The MetLife Stadium in New Jersey was all said and done for America's biggest sporting event of the year, Super Bowl 48. Fans of the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks gathered outside the stadium for bragging rights, showing loud support for their respective teams. The Broncos fans were certain on their victory, having great faith in their star quarterback, Peyton Manning.
Oh man, we're so excited.
Very confident.
Broncos are gonna win. We got the best quarterback to ever play the game. The Broncos are the best.
On the opposing side, the Seahawks fans, nicknamed the 12th man, are widely known for their vocal support and weren't afraid to show it just mere hours before the game.
Oh, awesome. They're going to be really important. They're
That's
going
why
to
we're
support.
called the 12th man, right?
We're here. We're here. Exactly it.
Seahawks!
The fans had a chance to pass their time with fun and games, enjoying an obstacle course outside the stadium, and naturally, merchandise sales were skyrocketing before the game began. While more than 82,000 fans packed the MetLife Stadium, other fans enjoyed the game, watching it at local New York bars. In the spirit of New York's plurality, you could see fans of both sides gathering at the same bar, uniting for one goal, putting their differences aside.
You see, Seattle fans coming together, Denver fans coming together, all these people in New York City who don't live here but who love these teams and love this game, and it's a beautiful thing.
However, the Seattle fans were the ones who enjoyed their night. The Seahawks showed a dominating performance, thrashing the Broncos 43-8, and finally winning their first Super Bowl title in franchise history. Meanwhile, in Denver, the Broncos fans didn't know what hit them, especially Manning, who didn't show up for the game.
We just got smoked. It's not a good feeling. It's pretty dramatic. It's gonna be, it's gonna feel bad waking up tomorrow morning. It's gonna be sad. It's gonna be, it's upsetting.
It wasn't all Manning. It was the defense and the special teams, too. Horrible. Horrible all around.
One team's devastating loss is another team's greatest feat. And after one of the most impressive games in recent Super Bowl history, the Seattle Seahawks have reason to celebrate, and their loyal fans will party hard, whether at home in Seattle or in New York, the city that never sleeps.
And joining us now is our American football expert, Mirav Sabir. Hi, Mirav.
Hi.
So, Mirav, we were expecting a very, very close game. Not the case. Do you understand what happened there?
I don't think anybody understands what happens there. It's been over 12 hours since that game ended, and I'm still not sure what I watched. We were expecting a clash of the Titans, and instead the Broncos came out, and they were just awful. They had 4 turnovers. This is a Broncos team that only had 26 turnovers
throughout the season.
The entire season.
Where was their offense?
There was a bunch of miscommunications. They looked lost the entire time. I mean, we saw it from the first 12 seconds of the game with that missnap for a safety. The Seattle Seahawks were able to score in the first 12 seconds off of a Broncos mistake. But you know what? I have to give it to them. The Seattle Seahawks, their defense, the Seattle Seahawks all around deserve a standing ovation. They say defense wins championships, but the Seattle Seahawks came out and they owned it on every single aspect. We're talking defense, we're talking offense, we're talking special teams. They scored in almost every way possible, and it was a blowout, and they really deserve it. It's their first championship. We saw the fans in Seattle, and they really deserve it. It was incredible.
And you know what? Speak of defense, speak of Malcolm Smith, the MVP, a linebacker. That's exactly what Seattle's all about. How many linebackers win MVPs in the Super Bowl?
He's only the third to ever win MVP in the Super Bowl, and he's the first one that gets to say, I'm going to Disneyland in the commercial. So it's been a really long time since the linebackers won this. And Malcolm Smith is not a name you would have known before the Super Bowl. He was a very unknown player, only in his third year, and he came out and he owned it. He had a fumble recovery. He had a pick six. He came out and it shows how much Seattle relied on its defense throughout the entire season. It's very fitting for a defensive player to win the MVP, and Malcolm Smith is actually the reason they made it to the Super Bowl. He was the one who caught the interception at the end of the 49ers. So not only did he get them there, but he won the MVP, and he's taken all the gold home with him.
Now, the Broncos fans are obviously disappointed. They're not the only ones. So is everyone who expected that a commercial in the fourth quarter would be very profitable. No one was watching it in the fourth quarter anymore. The game was gone. How angry are the advertisers?
They must have been furious because people were turning it off. I mean, I'm a huge football fan, and I was sitting through the fourth quarter saying, why am I watching this? Nothing is going on. So even though the first quarter was great, everybody was expecting it to pick up, so people kept watching. But we're also forgetting there are a lot of people who watch the Super Bowl only for the commercials. So the game in the middle is, just for the fun of it, but they may have stuck around through the fourth to see, because you would expect the best commercials to be in the fourth quarter. So they may have won, but they may have actually lost it. You never know who stuck around for them.
Very interesting. Super Bowl 48. Anything but what we've expected. Merav Savir, thank you very much for being with us.
Very welcome.
Now to the Premier League and to the leadership that once again changed hands. Arsenal are back to the top spot, at least until tonight, after defeating Crystal Palace 2-0 in the Emirates Stadium. It was not easy and not always pretty, but manager Arsene Wenger knows that it's the final score that really matters.
We needed to get 3 points, and it was difficult because Crystal Palace is a very united team, very well organized, with a big physical quality and impact in every challenge. And I must say they did that on a fair way, but it was very difficult to create space. And on our side, we needed to be patient.
The identity of the team in first spot could change hands again tonight as Manchester City hosts title rivals Chelsea. A victory would send the citizens back to the top. This game could obviously send an indication as to where the championship race is going, but local manager Manuel Pellegrini knows that whatever the outcome, there will still be a long way to go.
I don't know, it's a strong message. I think it's important because we play here at home, because we play against a team that is fighting for the title also. But everything or anything that happened in that game is not the finish of the Premier League. After that, you have 42 points to continue playing, so it's not a decisive game.
This is what the top of the Premier League looks like. Arsenal are first with 55 points, followed by Manchester City with 53, but with a game in hand, and Chelsea with 50, also missing a game. Liverpool, as it seems, are giving up on their title aspirations after losing 2 points following a 1-0 draw in West Bromwich. Now to Spain, where the top of La Liga took a very interesting turn this weekend. Atletico Madrid took to the field at the Vicente Calderón knowing that a win would guarantee them the top spot. 2 weeks ago, they missed a similar chance. Well, this time it was not going to happen. Diego Costa set up David Villa for the first against Real Sociedad, then he took care of business by himself. Number 21 for him this season, only one behind Ronaldo in the race for the Pichichi. 16 minutes from time, they were already 3 up after the header by Joao, and there was still time for one more from newcomer Diego. Atletico rises to first and does it in style. Real Madrid were 1 point behind their city rivals ahead of the weekend, and they wanted to keep the pressure. It seemed to happen as Cristiano sets up Jesse in their game away against Athletic Bilbao. But the San Mamés has always been a difficult place to win in, and this was no exception. Ibai Gomez with a powerful shot makes sure Real Madrid returns home only with a point. And if that is not enough, they also lose Ronaldo, who got a dubious red card following this incident. Not a good day at the office for the Merengues. The good news though for Real Madrid were that their arch rivals Barcelona had it even worse. They hosted Valencia the night before and everything was going according to their plans when Alexis Sanchez gave the team from Catalonia the early lead. Valencia is going through a slow season, but let's remember, it was not too far that they won 2 Spanish championships and made 2 successive trips to the Champions League final, and that winning spirit is still there. They scored twice before Leo Messi equalized from the spot, but this was bound to be Valencia's day. Paco Alcácer scoring the winner. Barcelona's first home defeat for nearly 2 years means they lose the first place, which they held since the beginning of the season. Atletico Madrid is now the Spanish leader with 57 points. Barcelona and Real Madrid are 3 points behind, and all 3 of them will participate in midweek action in the semi-final of the Copa del Rey. The 2 teams from the capital will face each other in a double duel this week at the Bernabeu and next week at the Vicente Calderón, and we can't wait. And while it was a very happy day for Atletico Madrid on the pitch, it was a very difficult day outside. The greatest player in the history of the club, Luis Aragonés, was laid to rest yesterday in Madrid, a day after his death following a battle with leukemia. Aragonés was not only a great figure in the history of his club, but also had a great impact on the whole Spanish football as he coached the national team to its first major international success, winning Euro 2008. Barcelona players Iniesta, Puyol, Xavi and Fabregas, all part of that team, attended the funeral, as did Florentino Perez, the president of Real Madrid. All Spanish League games held a 1-minute silence in honor of Aragonés this weekend, with Atletico remembering its former player and coach ahead of their match against Real Sociedad. As we've seen, the season in England and Spain is close and intense, quite the opposite of what it looks like in Germany. We may be just a bit after mid-season, but the race in the Bundesliga is practically over. Bayern Munich is already 13 points ahead of second-place Leverkusen. The 5-0 victory over Frankfurt was their 11th win in a row, and with the form they're in, it's hard to see the streak ending. 5 different players scored for the Bavarian machine, including a goal from Arjen Robben, his first since returning from a knee injury. Bayern Munich scored 51 goals in just 19 matches this season, an amazing average of almost 3 per game. But manager Pep Guardiola thinks his team can still perform much better.
Perfect football is virtually impossible, but Bayern achieved it last season. I believe that this season we have only played 4 or 5, maybe 6 games of very good football. This is my opinion, and this is not good enough for these players and this club.
America, as we've seen, was all about the Super Bowl last night, but there was still time for one early NBA game. The Boston Celtics hosting the Orlando Magic in a game that finally marked the return of the good old Rajon Rondo from his ACL injury. He was out for almost an entire year before his return to action 3 weeks ago, but was not a real factor on the team until now. The newly named captain had 19 points, 10 assists and 6 rebounds to lead the Celtics to their first victory after a 4-game losing streak. It was not easy, as the Magic refused to go away without a fight, Glenn Davis making it a 3-point game with just over 7 minutes to go. Every time Orlando got close, Boston found the answer, this time coming from Avery Bradley, opening the gap again. Aaron Aflalo led the visitors from Florida with 18 points, but Rondo would not let this one go away. With another assist to Brandon Bass, the Celtics finally winning 96-89. Tennis time now, off to Davis Cup action in California, the United States hosting the United Kingdom. The Brits were up 2-1 when local Sam Curry faced Britain's favorite Andy Murray on the clay in San Diego. Murray led 2-1 in sets, but Curry wouldn't give up. He took Murray for a long rally, but eventually his ball is wide and the Brit gets the break. Match point for Murray. Curry hits wide again, and Britain celebrates its first Davis Cup victory over the US for almost 80 years, clinching a quarterfinal berth for the first time since 1986. In the quarters, the UK will face Italy, who came back with a victory from Mar del Plata, Argentina. The Italians were 2-1 coming onto the last day of play, meaning Argentine Carlos Berlocq had to win to avoid elimination. His rival, world number 15, Fabio Fognini, proved to be too strong as he led 2-1 in sets and got the decisive break in the fourth. Now it was all about keeping his serve. Berlocq has no answer and Italy are among the final 8. Many say that age is nothing but a number. Here is someone to prove it. Robert Marchand, a 102-old cyclist from France, decided that it was time to break a track cycling record, in this case his own. Marchand, who set a record in 2012 for the over 100 category, riding 24 kilometers in an hour, outdid himself, pedaling almost 27 kilometers in an hour at France's National Velodrome, more than 2.5 kilometers better than his previous record set 2 years ago. The retired firefighter received a standing ovation after the race, and what else can we say? Simply amazing! And we'll finish our show today in Bosnia, which marked the 30th anniversary of the 1984 Winter Olympics. The Jahorina Olympic Ski Resort hosted the ceremony in honor of the Sarajevo Games, which were the first Winter Olympics to be held in a communist country. The Bosnian 2014 Winter Olympic team members took part in the ceremony, reminding the 15 days in 1984 when Sarajevo stood at the center of the world, representing the Olympic ideal of peaceful coexistence. That's it for today. Thank you for being with us. Don't forget you can watch us anytime on our website at i24news.tv. We're also on Facebook and on Twitter. See you again tomorrow. Thank you very much.